Have you ever had that feeling like your whole world is just crumbling around you? I'm talking career disaster, maybe family stuff spinning out of control, and this deep need to just reinvent yourself all hitting at once. It's probably something a lot of us can relate to, even if our details are different. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into a brand new novel from an author many people love, Danielle Steel. It's called For Richer, for Poorer. Our mission here, like always, is to really cut through everything and give you the key insights, maybe some surprising bits, those aha moments about this book so you feel like you really get it. We're going to unpack the world of the main character, Eugenia Ward, look at the industry challenges in the story, and yeah, even touch on what early readers are saying. We've pulled our info together from a summary overview, some critical reviews, from different places, and the official publisher details, trying to give you a full picture. So let's dive into Eugenia Ward's world. What's her story?
Well, it's quite a setup Skill gives us. Eugenia Ward, she's not just anyone. She's had this really significant career. I mean, a celebrated fashion designer, even head designer at Oscar de la Renta, which is huge. Then she launched her own successful company. So she's known success, big time.
Right, which makes her current situation feel even more dramatic, doesn't it? That high peak before the fall.
Exactly. Because suddenly she's facing, well, serious financial trouble. Her whole legacy, these amazing evening gowns, wedding dresses, it's all threatened. And the trigger, a major downturn in haute couture, in the whole event-driven fashion industry.
Which feels very current, very relatable now.
Absolutely. And the novel, it came out August 12, 2025 from Penguin Random House. So it really plants the story in our time. It makes those industry struggles feel very real. It kind of highlights how even established names, big industries can be, vulnerable. Makes you think about the foundations of things.
Yeah, definitely. How does Steele handle that? Because she's known for, romance, family drama. Does she make the business stuff engaging? Or is it just sort of background noise?
No, I think she weaves it in quite skillfully.
Yeah.
It's not like reading a business report. It's the catalyst for Eugenia's personal crisis. You see the empty showrooms through her eyes. You feel the tension in the negotiations with investors, the fear for her employees. It's all very human-focused. That's her strength, right?
Yeah.
Making big forces feel personal.
Okay, that makes sense. And it's not just the business falling apart, is it? Her personal life sounds pretty intense, too.
Oh, completely. She's a single mother, 5 adult kids, which is a lot.
Oh, 5.
Yeah. And this is after divorcing, get this, an extravagant Italian prince. It's very Danielle Steel, that detail.
Oh, okay, yeah, that definitely sets a certain tone. A past life of glamour maybe hitting present-day reality hard.
Exactly. And the timing is just chaotic. One daughter, Gloria, her wedding plans are apparently spiraling costs, chaos, the works. We've all seen weddings get crazy, right?
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
And another daughter, Daphne, she's expecting twins right in the middle of all this financial meltdown and family stress. It's just pressure from all sides.
So Eugenia is being pulled every which way. Business on fire, family needs exploding.
And wait, there's more.
Huh.
New York Fashion Week is looming like the biggest event for her career, potentially. And just to pile it on, there's a hurricane threatening. Literally.
Seriously, a hurricane, too. It feels almost symbolic, doesn't it? The external storm matching the internal ones.
I think that's very likely the intention. Yeah. It's a classic move, isn't it? The weather reflecting the turmoil just ramps up the feeling that she's facing this overwhelming onslaught.
But it's not all doom and gloom. The summary mentions someone new coming into the picture.
Right. Amidst all this despair, there's this little spark. A character named Patrick Hughes appears. He's a real estate developer, and interestingly, he's also in financial trouble.
Ah, shared misery.
Kind of. But he offers Eugenia not just, companionship, but business smarts too. So it suggests maybe a way forward, both financially and maybe emotionally.
Okay, so it's not just a typical romance subplot then. It's tied into her survival.
It seems that way. Their connection is sort of forged in this mutual crisis.
Mm-hmm.
He brings a different kind of acumen, the real estate and business side, which complements her creative genius. And, yeah, the companionship looks like a needed anchor.
So we've got the external drama, business, family, hurricane, but you mentioned it's also about her internal journey.
Yes, absolutely. The novel apparently really explores Eugenia thinking about a fresh start and not just, saving the company or managing the kids, but finding herself again as her own person.
That's interesting. Redefining yourself after your known identity designer, mother, even former princess starts to crumble.
Exactly. And this internal journey is not happening in isolation. It's tied directly to these big external shifts. And that's where the novel gets really interesting, I think, in reflecting society. The sources say it poignantly captures the aftermath of the pandemic era. That's a direct quote. It's not just any economic downturn. It's specifically echoing what we've all just lived through.
Okay, let's dig into that a bit. What does that look like in the book?
Well, it mentions the fashion industry suffering under economic strain. Things like empty showrooms, businesses cutting back, desperate negotiations with potential investors.
Right, that sounds very familiar. We saw so many headlines like that.
Exactly. It grounds the story in a reality that, frankly, feels very close. Anyone who watched businesses, especially luxury or event-based ones, struggle recently will likely connect with that deeply. It makes Eugenia's situation feel less like fiction and more like a possibility.
It really taps into that collective memory, doesn't it? Makes the stakes feel higher because it resonates with real-world fragility.
Precisely. It invites you to think about how quickly things can change, even for established players.
But it's not all about the grim reality of business collapse, right?
Mm.
You mentioned the family sticking together.
Yes, and that's another key theme, this idea of quiet strength. The sources highlight endurance through small acts, not necessarily big dramatic rescues.
What kind of small acts?
Things like hand-holding, shared meals, quiet solidarity. It suggests resilience isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just being there for each other, the family sticking together, even when things are incredibly strained.
That feels very authentic. Often it is those small things, isn't it? Someone just showing up, sharing food, offering quiet support. That can mean everything.
It really can. It portrays hardship in perhaps a more relatable way than constant high drama. And it poses a question for you, listening. What does that quiet strength look like in your own life during tough times? What are those small anchors?
That's a good question. And Eugenia herself, navigating all this, she's juggling these intense roles. Businesswoman, mother, even this former royal spouse identity lingers. How do those clash or combine?
Well, the sources talk about this complex emotional terrain she's on. Her different identities definitely intertwine and clash. What seems compelling is the nuanced restraint and showing her internal growth. It's not just about her saving the business, it's about her figuring out who she is when those powerful labels are threatened. Imagine identifying as a top designer, a mother to grown kids, a princess even, and then facing ruin.
Yeah, shedding those skins or redefining them must be incredibly challenging.
Right. How do you reconcile that past status with present vulnerability? Who are you underneath it all? The novel seems to explore that quiet internal struggle alongside the more obvious external battles. It's quite a relatable conflict for anyone who's faced a major life shift.
Okay, so we have this complex character, timely themes, family drama. But what about the actual writing? What are readers saying? Because Steele has a very distinct style.
She does, and the reviews reflect that. There's some really interesting feedback. One Goodreads review puts it quite bluntly, saying, Danielle Steel is always a teller rather than a shower.
Ugh, the classic show don't tell critique. What does that mean in practice here? How does it feel to read?
Well, telling often means the author directly states characters' feelings or summarizes events, rather than letting you infer them purely from actions or dialogue. It can make for a faster-paced story, covering a lot of ground.
Which might work for a sprawling family saga like this one often is.
Exactly. Steele's style often prioritizes getting the emotional core across clearly and moving the plot forward. Some readers really connect with that directness. Others might prefer more subtlety, more being shown the scene and deducing the rest. It's a stylistic preference, really.
Did the review give examples of the telling or related issues?
Yes. The same reader mentioned repetitiveness being an issue for them. They said, quote, I lost count of how many times she said the MMC male main character had 17 empty office buildings, and many, many more details repeated over and over.
Okay, 17 empty office buildings. That specific detail repeated could potentially jump out at you, yeah.
It could. And this reader also felt Eugenie's daughter Gloria and her fiancé were absolutely insufferable, which is quite a strong reaction.
Yeah.
And they wished for greater exploration of the other siblings' characters. So that touches on character depth, especially for the secondary cast. Are they fully realized, or do they mainly serve the central plot?
So it sounds like the consensus is she delivers her signature style, that emotionally charged storytelling, but maybe some of the ways she executes it, the telling, the repetition, maybe character focus, could divide readers?
That seems like a fair summary. It's not necessarily a flaw, but a feature of her style that works better for some readers than others.
What advice would you give someone considering picking it up, hearing this feedback?
I'd say know what you enjoy in a book. If you love Steele's usual approach, big emotions, resilient heroines navigating complex lives that focus on family and overcoming adversity, then you'll likely enjoy this. The critiques about telling or repetition might just be part of the package for you. But if you strongly prefer very lean prose, deep dives into every single side character, and minimal repetition, then maybe approach with caution or adjust your expectations. It's about matching the book to your taste.
You're right. So let's clarify that. Who is this deep dive really for?
Well, if you're someone who's drawn to contemporary family dramas, loves a driven protagonist, enjoys a bit of fashion world intrigue, and appreciates those quietly powerful narratives of endurance we talked about, this sounds like it could be a great fit.
It hits those classic Steel notes, but with a very current backdrop.
Exactly. On the flip side, if you really favor lean prose, hate minimal repetition, or need deep development of a broad character cast, maybe this isn't the one for you right now. And that's okay.
Good to know. Okay, let's wrap this up. We've taken a pretty thorough look into Danielle Steel's For Richer, For Poorer. We've followed Eugenia Ward's journey from the heights of fashion to facing financial ruin, family chaos, even a hurricane. We've seen how the story taps into themes of resilience, that quiet strength in families, and reflects on industry struggles, especially echoing the post-pandemic climate, all while Eugenia considers this massive, personal reinvention.
And we acknowledge that while her storytelling style is beloved by many, some aspects, like the telling approach or repetition, might not click with every single reader. But underneath it all, the core of the novel seems to be a tribute to that strength, that glue that holds families together when everything else is falling apart.
It really speaks to connection and finding yourself again, even when things are at their worst. So that leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on. Thinking about our own lives. When things feel like they're unraveling, what are those small acts, those quiet solidarities that actually make the difference, that hold us together? And maybe, how do we even define a fresh start when the identities we've held onto for so long are suddenly challenged or stripped away? How do we rebuild? Something to think about. Until our next deep dive.